Have you ever wondered what a billionaire does first thing in the morning? Or how world-class performers like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Naval Ravikant, and Tony Robbins think when they're up against a challenge? Picture this. It's 5 a.m. Somewhere in the mountains of Montana, a Navy SEAL is already deep into a workout. In another part of the world, a tech billionaire quietly meditates on a balcony, the steam from his green tea swirling into the cold morning air. What ties them together isn't luck or money or genius. It's habits. Intentional, often bizarre, but always repeatable habits that have been shaped over years. And now, they're all captured in one book, Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss. Hello, I am Bharat, and welcome to AudioFi Books, where you will find excellent audio summaries of books in a very easy and interesting way. If you want to learn from new books, do subscribe to the channel. Let's get started with today's book. Imagine walking into a room filled with the smartest, most accomplished, most unusual people on the planet. You have Tim Ferriss as your guide. He's done the hard part: interviewing, probing, learning. Now, he hands you the keys to a vault filled with tactical knowledge, strategies, and philosophies from people who didn't just play the game, they changed it. And instead of just telling you their stories, Tim breaks them down like blueprints you can use. One of the most striking patterns he reveals is that almost all of these titans have some form of a morning routine. It might be 5 minutes, it might be 2 hours, but it's sacred. Tim himself often starts his day with just 3 things: making his bed, yes, really, doing some light exercise or stretching, and journaling. Why make your bed? Because it's a small win. It's the first "I did it" of the day. From there, momentum builds. The journal? That's where the chaos in your mind starts to settle. Tim swears by the morning pages technique. Just 3 pages of free writing to dump whatever's in your head. Don't edit, don't censor, just write. It's like a mental detox. Then there's meditation. Across the board, from tech investors like Naval Ravikant to athletes like Amelia Boone, meditation shows up like a secret weapon. But it's not always about sitting cross-legged in silence. For some, it's using guided apps like Headspace. For others, it's just taking 5 minutes to breathe and observe. The core is awareness. As Tim puts it, if you want to get better at handling stress, don't build a better plan. Build a better mind. Now, let's talk about something called fear setting. This one might just flip your brain upside down. We've all heard about goal setting, right? Write your goals, break them down, set deadlines. But Tim learned something much more powerful from the Stoic philosopher Seneca. Instead of asking, "What do I want?" ask, "What am I afraid of?" Write it down. Be brutally honest. Then ask, "What's the worst that can happen? What steps can I take to prevent or recover from that worst-case scenario?" And finally, what might be the cost of inaction? This exercise helped Tim make huge life decisions, like quitting a job, investing in startups, or taking a sabbatical. It can do the same for you, because often the thing we fear is just a fog. Once you define it, it loses its power. Throughout Tools of Titans, you'll notice this tension between the unconventional and the practical. Take the billionaire investor Peter Thiel, for example. He asks a question that's deceptively simple. How can I achieve my 10-year goals in 6 months? Sounds crazy, right? But the point isn't to be reckless. It's to challenge assumptions. Why are you waiting 10 years? What's stopping you from accelerating? That mindset forces creativity, cuts out fluff, and makes you rethink what's truly necessary. Then you meet people like Jocko Willink, a former Navy SEAL commander. Jocko wakes up at 4:30 a.m. every day. Not sometimes, every day. He trains, he writes, he builds discipline like a fortress. And his message is loud and clear. Discipline equals freedom. The more control you have over your body and your habits, the more freedom you have to live life on your terms. It's not about punishment, it's about ownership. What's beautiful about this book is that it isn't just hustle culture on steroids. It's also deeply human. Tim opens up about his struggles with depression, his fear of failure, his journey through therapy. Many of the titans he interviews talk about gratitude, not in a cheesy way, but as a serious mental tool. Some write down 3 things they're grateful for each morning. Others reflect on moments of beauty throughout their day. Gratitude, it turns out, isn't just nice, it's necessary. It keeps ambition from turning into anxiety. You'll find insights from doctors, comedians, monks, CEOs, even people who've survived prison or trauma. One moment, you're learning how to increase testosterone naturally. The next, you're hearing Seth Godin talk about the power of showing up every day, no matter how small the effort seems. These aren't scattered tips. They're overlapping layers of wisdom. Like Lego blocks, you can stack to build a life that works for you. When Tim asked his guests about books they gifted the most, certain titles kept coming up. The War of Art, Meditations, Man's Search for Meaning. These are books about inner war, resilience, and clarity. Because beneath all the tactics, these titans are really just learning how to face themselves. There's also a heavy focus on health and longevity. Some of the guests are biohackers, people who experiment with diet, supplements, cold showers, fasting, and even gadgets to optimize performance. Some of it sounds extreme, but much of it is backed by science. Sleep, for instance, comes up again and again. No matter how successful the person, if their sleep suffers, so does everything else. And movement, even just walking 20 minutes a day, can change your brain chemistry. One of my favorite takeaways, the idea that success is often about subtraction, not addition. It's not about doing more. It's about doing less of what doesn't matter. Legendary investor Ray Dalio talks about creating principles, frameworks that remove emotion from decision-making. And Derek Sivers says, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Simple, but powerful. It forces you to cut through noise. You'll also see a recurring theme of embracing discomfort. B.J. Miller, a palliative care doctor, reminds us how fragile life is. Others talk about purpose, not as a buzzword, but as something you actively shape. Even failure is reframed. It's not the opposite of success. It's the foundation for it. So many of these titans failed, repeatedly. But they use those failures like raw material. There are parts of the book that will make you pause, think, reflect. It might be an odd tip about taking cold showers or a philosophical question like, what would this look like if it were easy? That last one is Tim's go-to when he's stuck. Try it. You'll be surprised how often we complicate things that could be simple. By the end of Tools of Titans, you realize it's not really about becoming like someone else. So if there's one thing to take away from this treasure chest of a book, it's this. Greatness isn't reserved for the chosen few. It's built daily in the small decisions, the morning rituals, the questions you dare to ask. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and experiment boldly. That's the spirit of Tools of Titans. And who knows, maybe tomorrow morning you'll start your day a little differently.